I was dealing with some emotional issues, and I found solace in certain foods, not healthy foods, by the way, as well as TV and video games, which is very passive. And doing that for 5-6 years, what do you expect? I got really unhealthy. And I came to fitness as one of the methods to help me with my change, because I really wanted to change physically. I got to a place at 15 where I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I need to change, and more importantly, I want to change. And going through that process of change myself created this really interesting relationship with fitness in my life. I look at it as a way to really self-medicate, if I'm perfectly honest. Like, my family can tell if I'm getting a little moody, my wife's like, why don't you go for a workout or just go do something active? She knows I could be gone for 20 minutes. I'll come back and I'll completely change energetically.
But that's not just a you thing. I think it's a human thing, right?
I agree. Yes. Yeah. So I do believe fitness is a priority for everyone, or at least it should be. And I hate shitting on people, but fitness is just a method to which you can influence your health, both physically, emotionally, spiritually. I know everyone just thinks the physical benefit, but truthfully, it's so much more than that.
As we get older, as I get into my mid-40s, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. My doctors assure me that things are going to change, like eyesight, all these things that are going to happen. Embrace it, have grace, and do these things for yourself. But to me, literally not messing with my sleep, having caffeine end at a certain time of the day, like all those things matter, because if I'm under a certain level, I am hungover and I didn't drink. That's the feeling. I feel like it's called aging. But I like how you say that it's that method, and it could be a variation for different people, but really just like you said, got to move. And you mentioned blue zones. Why don't you talk about what you meant by that? Because I don't know that a lot of people know that series.
Yeah, you know what? I'll share another reference after that too, that I think will bring everything into focus for everybody. I, like yourself, love doing keynotes. In one of my keynote talks, I try to really encourage people that the science, but as well as the methodologies through which we can improve our lives, is accessible, and it really doesn't cost any money.
Yeah.
But it does require maybe changing how we look on the world, but also look at ourselves and getting honest, with really what do we want and why do we want it? So that's sort of the general overview contextually. But when we actually look at the blue zones themselves, very specifically, there's these 5 areas around the world that were recognized as having the largest density of population of adults living to be 100 years or older. My grandma in her 90s wasn't like your grandma at 92, okay? She was living in a home, assisted living, and she pretty much, from the time she'd wake and the time she'd go to bed, she'd basically sit in this chair in the living room, right? Like, and that was really the extent of it. She'd move when she had to go eat, or, switch seats to see the TV better. Right? Like, that was it. Where, it sounds like your grandmother is thriving still. She's living a very active, engaged life.